Okay, real talk. Your coworker lost 40 pounds on Ozempic. Your neighbor's on it. Some celebrity just got caught lying about it on TV. And your doctor has a 6-month waiting list just to get a prescription. So you're probably thinking, what is this drug? Does it actually work? And is it too good to be true? Well, today we're not doing gossip. We're not doing YouTube drama. We're opening up an actual scientific study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, one of the most respected medical journals on the planet, and we're going to find out what really happened when nearly 2,000 real people took this drug. I'm a pharmacist with 9 years of experience, and my job today is to translate the boring science into something you can actually understand while you're driving, doing dishes, or whatever you're doing right now. No judgment. Let's go. First, what even is Ozempic? The drug's real name is Semaglutide. Ozempic is just the brand name, the one the marketing team came up with. There's also another version called Wegovy, which is the same molecule but approved specifically for weight loss. Now, semaglutide belongs to a class of drugs called GLP-1 receptor agonists. That sounds very fancy and complicated, so let me explain it in the most human way possible. You know that feeling after a big Thanksgiving dinner, where you're just done, stuffed? You couldn't eat another bite even if someone offered you a free slice of pie. That's roughly what this drug does to your brain, but all the time. It mimics a hormone in your body called GLP-1, which normally gets released when you eat. This hormone tells your brain, hey, we're full, stop eating. Semaglutide basically keeps that signal turned on much longer than normal, so instead of feeling hungry again 2 hours after lunch, you just don't. Your appetite drops. You eat less, and the weight starts coming off. That's the idea. But does it actually work in real humans in real clinical trials? That's where the science comes in.
So researchers ran what's called the STEP 1 trial. STEP stands for Semaglutide Treatment Effect in People with Obesity. They enrolled 1,961 adults, nearly 2,000 people. These were adults who were overweight or obese, and importantly, none of them had type 2 diabetes. The average person in this study weighed about 232 pounds. That's around 105 kilograms for my European listeners. They were randomly split into 2 groups. One group got a weekly injection of semaglutide. The other group got a placebo, basically a fake injection of nothing. Now, you might be wondering, why bother giving people a fake injection? Here's why. Our brains are weird and powerful. Sometimes just the act of believing you got a real treatment is enough to make your body actually respond. It sounds crazy, but it's documented science. So, to measure the true power of the drug, and only the drug, researchers need a control group that goes through the exact same experience just without the active ingredient. That way, whatever difference you see at the end, you know it came from the molecule itself. Not from hope, not from expectation, from the drug. And here's the key detail. Both groups also got lifestyle counseling, diet advice, exercise guidance, the whole thing. The trial lasted 68 weeks. That's about 16 months. And then they measured what happened. Now, before I give you the results, I want you to actually feel the magnitude of what I'm about to say, because these numbers surprised even the researchers. Ready? The semaglutide group lost an average of 14.9% of their body weight. That's not 14.9 pounds, that's 14.9% of their entire body weight. So, if you weighed 230 pounds going in, you'd come out around 196 pounds. The placebo group, the ones who got the fake injection but still did the diet and exercise, lost 2.4%. So the drug made roughly a 12 percentage point difference on top of lifestyle changes alone. In actual weight, the semaglutide group lost an average of 15 kilograms. That's about 34 pounds. To put that in perspective, a standard bag of rice is about 10 kilograms. These people dropped the equivalent of 1.5 bags of rice from their own bodies. Imagine carrying that around every single day of your life and then just setting it down. Your knees feel it, Your back feels it. Everything feels lighter. The placebo group lost about 2.5 kilograms. Same diet advice, same exercise program, wildly different results.
Now let's talk about who responded and by how much. I'm going to keep this simple because I know some of you are driving right now. Out of every 10 people who took semaglutide, 9 of them lost weight. 9 out of 10. That alone is already remarkable, but here's where it gets genuinely jaw-dropping. 1 in 2 people, that's literally half the participants, lost 15% or more of their body weight. Think about what that means physically. Imagine a 20-pound bag of dog food. Now imagine that just disappearing from your body. That's what half the people in this study experienced. And then there's the top tier. 1 in 3 people on semaglutide lost 20% or more of their body weight. Now, in medicine, that level of weight loss has a name. We call it bariatric surgery territory. That's the kind of result you'd expect after stomach stapling, after going under general anesthesia, getting cut open, and having your stomach surgically rearranged. These people got that result from a weekly injection. That's the number that made the scientific community sit up and go, wait, what? The placebo group, remember, they were doing diet and exercise too. Most of them lost a little, but the gap between the two groups was enormous. Same effort, completely different outcome. Now, I know exactly what question is forming in your head right now. Okay, great, but what's the catch? There's always a catch. Let's talk about it. Okay, so what's the catch? Side effects. And yes, they're real. But first, let me quickly describe what taking this drug actually looks like. This is not a pill you swallow with your morning coffee. It comes in a small pen, literally looks like a fancy ballpoint pen. Once a week, you click it against your stomach or your thigh, and it delivers a tiny injection just under the skin. Most people say they barely feel it. That little pen, once a week, is what's rewiring your brain's hunger signals. Now, the side effects: nausea, diarrhea, feeling like your stomach just doesn't want to cooperate with you. Here's the way I explain it to patients. Remember, the whole point of this drug is to make your brain think you're full all the time. Well, when your brain thinks you're full, your gut slows way down. It's like rush hour traffic in your digestive system. Everything backs up. Think of it this way. Food is just sitting in your stomach way longer than it normally would. So you feel bloated, uncomfortable. And then when things finally do decide to move, they move fast, like cancel your dinner plans fast. It's the kind of situation where you start mentally mapping out every public bathroom on your commute. Things get uncomfortable. Now, most people adapt. The nausea hits hardest in the first few weeks while the dose is being gradually increased. And for the majority of people, it fades. About 4 out of every 100 people said, I can't do this anymore, and stopped the drug because of gut issues. 4%, which means 96% push through. There's no free lunch, as they say, but for most people, the trade-off is worth it. One more thing worth mentioning: gallstones. The semaglutide group had slightly more gallstone issues, about twice the rate of the placebo group. Now here's the thing about gallstones and weight loss. They actually go hand in hand. When you lose weight quickly, your liver dumps more cholesterol into the bile, and gallstones can form. It's not unique to this drug. It's a known risk of rapid weight loss in general. But it's something your doctor should know about, especially if you have any history of gallbladder issues. Okay, I need you to pay attention for the next 2 minutes. If you've been half listening while doing the dishes, put the sponge down for a second. If you're driving, eyes on the road, but ears on me. Because what I'm about to tell you is the part that almost nobody in the Ozempic conversation is talking about. Here's the question nobody wants to answer. What happens when you stop taking it? There's a follow-up study called the Step 4 trial that answered exactly this question. And the answer is not great. In Step 4, people who had been successfully losing weight on semaglutide were then randomly split. Half of them continued the drug, the other half was switched to placebo, meaning they stopped getting the real medication. What happened over the next year? The people who continued semaglutide kept losing weight or maintained their loss. The people who stopped, they regained about 2/3 of the weight they had lost.
2/3 within about a year. Why? Think back to the Thanksgiving dinner analogy from earlier. This drug works by keeping your brain in a permanent state of "I'm full." The moment you stop the drug, that artificial fullness signal disappears. And it doesn't just go back to normal. Your hunger comes roaring back, harder than before, like going from that cozy post-Thanksgiving stupor straight to "you haven't eaten in 3 days." Your body was suppressed for over a year, and now it wants everything back. And here's the important thing to understand. This is not a willpower problem. This is biology. Your body has systems designed to fight weight loss and restore its previous state. The drug was overriding those systems. When the drug leaves, those systems take back control. So here's the honest pharmacist reality check. This drug works while you're on it, but it appears that for most people, the weight comes back when you stop, which raises a really uncomfortable question that nobody in the Ozempic hype train likes to talk about. Is this a short-term treatment, or is this potentially a lifelong medication?
Here's my take as someone who has worked in pharmacy for 9 years and read a lot of these studies. The data is genuinely impressive. I don't say that lightly. A 15% average weight loss in a controlled trial is not something we've seen before with a non-surgical option. And the improvements went beyond just the number on the scale. Blood pressure came down, blood sugar dropped, cholesterol got better, and those little fires of inflammation that had been quietly burning all over the body, they started going out. Now, inflammation is one of those words that sounds very medical and distant, so let me make it real. When your body's inflammation levels drop, you wake up in the morning feeling less stiff. Your joints ache a little less. That dull, heavy feeling you carry around all day, it starts to lift. Chronic pain that you just accepted as part of life starts to ease. It's not just about the number on the scale. It's about how you feel getting out of bed, how you feel walking up a flight of stairs, how you feel at the end of a long day. Think of it like taking your car in for a full service. New oil, clean filters, the whole thing. The engine doesn't just run better. Everything runs smoother. That's what was happening on the inside for these participants. But I think it's important to go in with clear eyes. This is not a cure for obesity. It's a treatment, like blood pressure medication or cholesterol medication. It works while you take it. For some people, it might be genuinely life-changing. For others, the side effects might be too much. And the question of long-term use, what happens to your body after 5, 10, 20 years on this drug, we simply don't have that data yet. The trial was 68 weeks. That's just over a year. We're going to need a lot more time and a lot more studies before we fully understand what this drug means for human health long-term. So, does Ozempic work? Based on the science? Yes. Genuinely, impressively, yes. Is it a magic bullet? No. Is it right for everyone? Also no. But for millions of people struggling with obesity who have tried diet and exercise and it just hasn't been enough, this drug represents something that hasn't really existed before, and that's worth understanding. If you found this useful, subscribe, because this is what we do here. You don't have to read a 40-page medical journal. You don't have to sit down and study. Just press play while you're driving, cooking, or doing whatever it is you do, and let the science come to you. Every episode, I crack open a real study and translate it into something that actually makes sense. No ads, no fluff, no selling you anything. Just a pharmacist who thinks you deserve to understand the science that affects your life. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one.